And we're back to another series of Let's Play. I'm your host, the RPG Guy. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I got some referrals, recommendations, but I do have an itinerary that's already pre-planned, and I'm going to stick to it for the most part, at least for the next few series. But I did want to pull this out because some people asked me about it, and, I'm glad that people are paying attention to it, and it's getting some more light shed upon it. We're going to be playing through Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. This is the sequel to Lunar the Silver Star Story. It originally came out on Sega CD. It did very well in Japan, not so well in the US because the RPGs on Sega consoles were just in general not doing well, and then you did it on Sega CD. But by no means is because of the quality of the product. It's a solid game from beginning to end. It's a wonderful experience, and it is a continuation of Lunar, the first Lunar game. However, it's interesting to see how they did it. All of the things that Lunar may get docked for from a lot of people is the story's too simplistic, the characters, though colorful, or cliched, and all those other things. It's like, yeah, you can have very cliched stories, you can have very poorly, contrived plots, as long as they're well written and connected and connect very well. Nobody cares. It's a good product. If you like Shazam, you like the movie Shazam, you like the concept of Lunar. You just, for some reason, something else didn't click for you, and that's fine. That's a personal preference issue. It's not a criticism of your way of thinking or anything. But Lunar 2 turns some of that on its head. As far as the story and the construction, the gameplay is rather similar, with a few changes. But in and of itself, it's a harder game. It's harder than Lunar, the first Lunar game, more challenging. The story is much more intricate, and a lot of people liked this aspect of it, whereas other people not so much. It's a preference thing. But Lunar 2, if you are an RPG fan, Lunar 2 is a requirement to play. The first two, Lunar 1 and Lunar 2. All the other Lunar games you don't need to mess with. Either they're not very good or they're very irrelevant and very poorly constructed. And it was usually done by another studio. I'm looking at you, Lunar Dragon Song. You can burn in a frickin' fire. But not every game comes out's gonna be a masterpiece, and that's fine. But yeah, the Lunar series, as far as Lunars 1 and 2, they're definitely amazing stories, and this one might tend to appeal to the more larger crowd that wants something a bit more complex and much more involved. So, and again, it's the same people who made the first Lunar. It's a lot of the people that made Grandia and Grandia 2, and Golden Sun were all involved in these projects prior to Grandia. This is where it began for these guys, for game arts in many ways. So, going into Lunar 2, if you liked Lunar 1 a lot, you're really probably going to like Lunar 2 for the most part. If you had issues with Lunar, the first Lunar story being kind of slow, not slow, but very predictable and very cliched, you're going to like the story in Lunar 2 a lot more, because it's nowhere near as emulating those things from Lunar 1. It tries to do something new, and this is something I think that the RPG industry doesn't do well. Unfortunately, they try to make these really complex stories and they just fall flat on their face because they're not coherent. Whereas Lunar 2 tackles some of that complexity. Not a lot, not as extreme as like Final Fantasy 13, but it tries to tackle that complexity, and it succeeds because it knows what it is and it knows what story it's trying to tell. And there is such a thing as being too big for your britches. So that's enough ranting out of me. I think you guys would rather just see it for yourself. So let's get started with Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete for the PlayStation. As this is probably the definitive version worth playing. And yeah, when I was a kid, I pre-ordered this. I loved the first Lunar so much. And it came with a galleon punching doll. It came with a medallion that one of the characters wears. It came with a bunch of standees for all the characters. a map. It came with a leather-bound book. The game is 3 PlayStation discs long, and it came with a making of disc and a music disc, and it was like $50. It was 50 or $60. I think it was $60. I think it was $59.99 when it came out. And that's just part of it. I know I'm missing some other stuff that I think came with the game, but it was a very loaded game. So as far as how much cool shit that came with it, and I have all of it. All right, guys, I'm not going to keep you anymore. Let's get started with a brand new game. Brand new game.
Hanging silently in space, the world in the
So many
shadow of the
moons.
blue star was once a lonely, barren place, unfit for habitation. However, Althena took pity on that world and transformed it into a place of beauty and wonder. She called the new world Lunar. Time and circumstance conspired to force Althena to populate Lunar with people from the blue star. And, just as on the world from which they came, life was held in a delicate balance. Through times of peace, war, chaos, and battle, the blue star loomed as the only constant in the new world. Thousands of years passed, burying the origin and purpose of the blue star in the sands of time. Eventually, inhabitants of Lunar forgot why the blue star was there or how it came to be, until a girl awakened that could join the two worlds, or tear them apart forever.
That was an interesting intro. That voice sounded ever so familiar. I'm not giving it away. I'm not giving it away. If you want to give it away in the chat, go ahead. But those of you who are curious, you've been warned. It's not that it's giving much away. Oh man. Did we find Superman's dildo in the middle of the Arctic? Nah. It's not crystally enough. In the halls of temptation, one will find nothing more hot and more seductive and more bonerific than Waifu 3.0. The Waifu 3000 is capable of making you squee like a little girl. Okay, enough of that. Such a serious moment, and I'm here making terrible jokes. And on the plains of Arnor, the battle was won. Flash. Oh. Yeah, well, that's gonna ruin your day. It's me after Mexican food. And if that image doesn't haunt your memories, I can think of something else that might. Oh my. See, Final Fantasy games would be far more appealing if there were hot babes inside their crystals. I'm just saying. Then the Warriors of Light would have an even greater means to save the crystals. The promise of Putang. The promise of Putang. And thus we begin Lunar to Eternal Blue. So, yeah, and one of the big things, too, that's really appealing is a lot of people love the soundtrack to this game as well. Definitely an update from the last Lunar game, for sure. You may have noticed, too, Studio Alex. And all of that. So, yeah, big controversy. This game was successful, I believe, for the most part. But there were some controversies that came as the director, Victor Ireland, actually had stated there was a Lunar 3 in production. And then the people at Game Arts in Japan were like, no, there isn't. Because people were pleading with Working Designs to get a new one made, not realizing that Working Designs only did the translation and porting. They did not actually deal with the creation of the game. So, yeah. So we're getting some backstory here, but it's really cryptic as it's just visuals. We don't know what... Ask me what it means! Ask me what it means! But you can see that there's a figure there, and 4 dragons. That must be Althena going to... Lunar, right? Hot damn! Cover your eyes for all of its yeah, so that's the medallion that actually comes with the game. God, that floor, I can't speak. That floor must be so cold. Amongst everything else that should be freezing cold. Pretty sure walking around a crystal palace naked is probably not good for your immune system. It doesn't make any sense. It's not how I'm thinking about it. That's one way to start the adventure. Murals that you don't really know what they mean. Crystal Palace where some naked woman's walking through it. So when I think of adventure, I think naked crystal woman. Harr, coca, harr. Are they perky? Are they perky? She refuses to answer my most simple of questions.
This is not the time for my awakening.
My nipples are not perky enough. The lemon slices of justice must now wait to be squeezed. I'm a horrible human being.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
My clothes are missing. And she gets frostbite, and she's turned into an icicle, and that's the end of the game. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Okay. I need to stop doing that joke. You guys obviously know there's more to it than that. Do ya? But the narrator gave us some interesting backstory into how Lunar was kind of discovered. Ah, you thought I was going to say it, didn't you?
Ruby, did you say something?
Oh, great. Don't tell me you're hearing voices now.
I'm sure I heard something. I should have brought Grandpa's chisel. This is way harder than I thought. Ugh.
Hurry up and get the dragon's eye. The timer's almost run out on the trap.
Trap? What trap?
Whoops. Time for trap murder.
Ah! Why didn't you tell me about that earlier?
I did, but you were too wrapped up in getting the jewel to listen.
Oh yeah, the jewel. Hold on, I've almost got it.
Hurry, hero.
Before your butthole catches fire.
There, I got it.
Yay! Right, Sapphire Jewel. It's beautiful. And it's all ours.
What's that rumbling?
I had Mexican food.
Oh no! The exit's closing! Hurry!
Fail. What happens when you buy your rope from the dollar store? Use it only for pulling, not for climbing.
Oh, hero, don't die on me. You
just
I'll have to
can't
eat your
die.
flesh if you do.
I'm okay, Ruby. It's just a few bruises.
Okay, that's it. No more exploring for us. I can't do this anymore, Hero. We always end up getting in some sort of
Shh! Ruby! Listen!
What?
Uh-oh.
Ah! Come on, Ruby, let's get out of
They're
here!
gonna burn our buttholes! Run! And I am not controlling this, by the way.
Well, looks like you've caught us in another messy situation. Oh, by the way, if you haven't figured it out, my name is Hero, and the flying cat is named Ruby. She says she's actually a baby red dragon, but I don't know if I quite believe her. She doesn't care though. We've been friends for what seems like forever.
This reminds me of the opening to
Grandfather
Wild
Quinn
Arms
is an
1.
archaeologist who taught us how to explore ancient ruins like this. Well, not exactly like this. Grandpa'd have a coronary if he saw me in this kind of danger, but you get the idea. I think it's so cool that these dungeons and ruins that time forgot can be found and explored by someone like me. The world I live in today is a result of things that happened long ago. Someday, I'll gather enough information from ruins like these to prove that.
Whoa!
Well, that's an interesting way for that to go down. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. One of those inferno ghouls singed my wings.
But hey, it's a smart price to pay for that huge jewel we found. Uh-oh, we'd better head back to Grandpa's house before he starts to worry about us.
And thus we are now in control. So Hiro comes with a dagger and adventurer's clothes. My cool beans. As far as anything else goes, he only has boomerang, which is meh, as far as I'm concerned. And we can set a few things up because of the way this is going to play out in these early areas. We start at level 5, and we want to get a little bit of leveling going. So those of you who are not familiar with the Lunar series, the battle system is quite intuitive for its time. If anything, it was ahead of its time. Slightly, not like definitively. We can also run around on the screen for a very brief amount of time, and when you tire, you can't. And check this out. And I don't mean that as a reference to the first one. So battles, enemies most of the time show up on screen. And what we can do is we will take control, and we can use special magic attacks and of the like things of the like. Because we're right near a statue of Althena, which will heal us to full health anyway. But as you can see, I'm actually hanging back because the enemies have a lot further to walk than I do. And you can see this time, our winged cat friend actually participates in battle more so than the character from the previous game. Look at that! 5 XP and 6 silver, which is the currency, game currency. And whatnot.
Running away from all those flaming monsters and giant boulders really wore me out. Hero, why don't you stand at the statue and send a prayer of love to Althena? I always feel better after a blessing from the goddess.
Blarg. Alright, so and we're healed back up to full HP and MP here. So always a cool thing when that goes down. As far as anything else goes, we'll leave that on. Window style, we can go solid or transparent is fine. You know what? We'll go with green. Because why not? Spell names, battle voices, yeah, that's all dandy. Could go gray. Go green. I like green, it's my favorite color. Green is the coolest color ever. So we get 5 herbs and we get a starlight. Starlight recovers MP, herbs recover HP. Not that we're probably going to use them. We're going to, if anything, more or less stockpile them. But we do need to fight lots of enemies. We need to get stronger because currently we are not very strong. and that is quick. That will quickly become a issue of getting my face smashed in. As unlike Grandia 2, or unlike Lunar the 1, Lunar 2 Eternal Blue is pretty ruthless. If you fall behind in the game, it could possibly punish you for it. So this will keep us ahead of the game, so to speak. And all of that. Let's check our 2 next level here. I know I'm showing you fights just so you get an idea of what's around here. There's no really difficult enemies here, so nothing too crazy. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Next is 146. So we've got a bit of a ways to go before Hiro will actually level up. As you can see, we're not getting a lot. I don't believe we're getting that much XP from these fights. Here's a different enemy. We'll show this first. But yeah, we will wanna put in the time and the effort to get those levels. See how much we get for this fight, but I do believe it's gonna be very little. You see that freaking thing lived. And he's down. We get herb for our trouble. No shame or harm in that. One of the things I believe that is also different, which we'll take a look at too, is you'll notice that characters don't have that finite inventory anymore. So yeah, I believe that has been removed from the game. So we should have access to all items at all times. I didn't mean to do that. I'm about to get my face smashed in. So, control, item, yeah. So we have access to the inventory at all times.
Heal!
As you can see, we can heal up nice and strong. Ooh, yeah, those guys suck. Again, another reason why we want to get those levels. 22 damage is like most of our health.
Heal!
So, yeah. 12 damage is manageable. So let's go ahead and smack him around a bit. I think the boomerang's a better option, but I've committed to this. No, you know what? It's gonna hit me really hard right now. So let's not. I'll give him that opportunity, shall we?
Dodge this!
Yeah, 5 XP and 6 silver is abysmal in the grand scheme of things. I know, isn't it? We could use some healing. So again, that's why I'm really pushing that, getting a few levels here, maybe 1 or 2, is a good way to help. And yeah, we have access to that statue at all times. So during this dungeon, of course. So there's no reason not to fight everything here. Come on, fight me, fight me. And yeah, if an enemy running towards you gets you from behind, that would be bad.
Dodge this!
I thought we were far enough back. I guess not. Get these guys dead, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And there's our first level right there. Oh, you know, I'm reading the leveling thing wrong. Alright, so anyway, that looks good. It's all different. It's different than I remember. I'm still thinking the first Lunar. So, let's take a look here. Our current XP is 149, so we've got a less than 40 XP to go to level up again to 7. Which I believe we get a new attack, a new special ability, which is relevant and very useful. So we're going to want to make sure we get it. Get it. Oh no. Uh-oh. What did we do? Now what did we do? I swear I speak English. Now what did we do? Is it Rick James? Rick James! There's something you don't see every day. I wonder what it could be.
Wow, Hero! Get a load of that! It's incredible! But what the heck is it? It looks like a ship, but it moves without wind or sails.
Hey, you! Yes! You
Uh-oh.
over there! What are you doing in this area?
Who does this Joker think he is?
My name is Hero, and this is Ruby. Identify yourself.
Certainly. I am White Knight Leo, leader of Althena's Guard. And this is the dragon ship Destiny. Now then, listen up. You kids need to evacuate this area. I don't want to see any civilians accidentally caught in the middle of this thing. Return to your home immediately. Move it!
Oh, what a douche. Dude, you can't tell me what to do. I will eat your babies. Fresh baby meat.
This guy sure is bossy. Thanks for the warning, but we'll make our own decisions. Isn't that right, Hero?
How amusing. Not only are you country folk rude and ignorant, but your pets are as well.
What? I am not Hero's pet, mister. And don't you forget it.
Excuse me, but you just said you're the leader of Althena's Guard? What is it exactly, and why would the goddess need you to protect her anyway?
What? Are you ignorant as to be unaware of the protectors of your world? Perhaps I should spare a moment to educate you, Hero. That is the name you spoke, is it not? Our world is approaching an era of darkness and destruction, Hero. It has been foretold. But prophecies are not set in stone. They speak of a possible future, not an inevitable one. And that is why you currently behold the dragon ship Destiny. Althena's Guard is here to wield the goddess's strength and save this world from cataclysm. Now that I have enlightened you, Hero, I again ask that you leave this place at once, and take your cat with you. I cannot guarantee your safety if you remain here any longer. Helmsman, set a new course. Destination.
Wynn's Research Outpost.
Oh, he said it for me. Some of it's automated, and some of it isn't. So I do not have when those parts of the game are memorized, because that's asking too much. I assure you, way too much.
Someone needs to teach that guy what a cat looks like. I didn't like what else he had to say either. An era of darkness, the destruction of the world.
You creep me out too, Ruby. What did he mean by that? And when he left, he shouted the name Gwen. What does he want with Grandpa?
Speaking of Grandpa, he's going to be ticked if we're not home soon.
Good point, Ruby. Let's get out of here. And really quick, we can get free healing. Because why not? I'm just, that's the guy that I am. Exploit. Whoa. But we got a level, which probably is enough. So let's get moving. As you can see, we can't permanently run. I'm just running whenever it recharges here. And as per usual, we fight everything. Everything must die. It's getting to come closer to me. Wow, we really have, like, no movement. Couldn't even reach the other enemy. Yeah, we gotta be a little bit more careful of that. 4 delicious XP. Only less than, only, what? 29 more to go? Alright, let's take a look here. Again, picking fights and cleaning out the zones will get you a lot of that coveted XP that you're gonna need to get through the game, but it's not a guarantee. And so repeating some areas is in your best interest, but not necessarily all the time. This fight, though, we need to murder these dudes quick, fast, and in a hurry. Ah! Kill it. Kill it with fire.
Dodge this.
Nice. Ow, he hit me. And boom shakalaka. Do 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 goo. If we see another one of that enemy type, we're probably gonna wanna. Oops, speak of the devil. Oh boy. If they hit us with 2 of those, that's a game over. Let us go ahead and burn one of these. Guess we gotta pick another fight. Hopefully against only one. Yes. And the other 2 are pretty far away, so.
Dodge this.
You'll also notice that the colors that light up when we attack an enemy are they actually change color, and I'll show you what I mean by that. They're emanating yellow. This is part of something new that was added to Lunar 2. They actually can be green, yellow, or red. And pretty much what that means is yellow is neutral damage, green is something that the enemy is weak to, and red is something that the enemy is resistant to. So that's just something to keep in mind as we fight through the battles and whatnot here. I tried to flee! I need to not maybe take that as lightly. Alright, let's go ahead and go after the biggin in the back.
Dodge this.
He comes up and... Ooh, nice dodge! And yes, I am showing most of these battles early on for you guys, just because that way you get a kind of a feel of the battle system. I will do a better job going forward, though, cutting out a lot of the random encounters. Anything that becomes a little repetitive, we'll start cutting out. But early on, I don't see an issue. It's just kind of exposing you guys to it and getting a feel for the area of the way the game's going to be playing for the majority of it. So, yay. And you can see that Ruby is not that dumb. Ruby tends to go after enemies that are very much wounded. And not waste a lot of time attacking enemies with full health. It's somewhat coordinated attacking, which is good. It's not like Ruby's just attacking random stuff. Ruby will attack anything that may either be the biggest threat or maybe something that Ruby can pick off, give or take. But it's pretty consistent to that degree, but not necessarily the most interesting thing to rely upon. We should be almost to level here, to the next level, I would think. Some 7 XP, I guess, to the next level. So yeah, we'll level to 7 in a moment here, which will be great. Great power. So again, don't be shy. Burn your MP in dungeons. Some dungeons. Or if you know you're near where an Althena shrine is, or you know you're getting through a good chunk of the dungeon. You can't just sit and not use your skills. You gotta use them in this game. Because being too conservative can be bad. Off and on at different junctures of this game. Sometimes sometimes it helps to be conservative with your MP. Sometimes it doesn't. So you gotta play that kind of game of figuring out when is a good time to actually use your skills and when is a good time to just hold back. We should level possibly after this fight. We'll see. They can come to me. I'm not gonna be able to reach another one, am I? Oh yeah, there we go. That could have been worse. Kill. And murder. There's a level. Yay! Attack, defense, agility all go up 1 point. Speed goes up 2. Wisdom up 1. Magic defense up 3. Always good. Range up 1. That's great, because the better the range is, the bigger our range is, the more likely we can move from target to target. Hero gains a level. Post sword was learned. Hero hops high and hits hard. Yeah, so there's pretty much the big single target offensive attack. The boomerang's kind of good for random encounters. The post sword is going to be our go-to attack for big boss fights. We get 100 silver, which is always great, because who doesn't like money? Alright, so we made it through the pass, which is good. As we now got to make our way back towards what would one call would be home. What one would be called... Never mind. So we can get us some delicious healing, and because you guys were so patient, we're going to go ahead and just keep going here.
Yes, Lord Leo. I have spent many years researching the Blue Spire. But it remains a mystery to me, as it has been for everyone for hundreds of years. You can't possibly expect that I would know all of the secrets, or even any of them. Besides, what leads you to be interested in the Spire at all? Blue stars, secret riddles. Pah! What a simple life you lead, my aged archaeologist. My work is of much greater importance than digging up the offal of our ancestors. The Destroyer is coming to our world, and the Blue Spire is the place at which it will enter. The goddess Althena has given me direct and explicit orders to eradicate the Destroyer. The goddess Althena? A demon in the Tower of Blue? Bah! You speak nonsense! Utter nonsense! Whether you believe me or not, Gwyn, I require your help, and I shall not leave without it.
Guy's kind of a dick. Dragon Tower, Ruined Star, Dragon Tower, Goddess Tower, Blue Spire, especially the Spire. So obviously Gwyn, or Grandpa, is an archaeologist of some sort, or a researcher. Alright, fine. Though, yeah, we're not done with that. Grandpa, we're home.
There you are. If you weren't always late, I might have started worrying about you. This is Lord Leo, the head of Althena's guard. He wants to know about the Blue Spire. Yes, and I was about to explain. As I was about to explain, I don't have the time for a history lesson. I have but a single question of you, Gwyn. How does one break the seal of the Spire's entrance? Ah, yes, well. It is indeed the million-silver question, isn't it? I'm not exactly sure, of course, but it seems to me that if one were to take the... I don't have time to act on a hunch, old man. If you don't know the way inside, I shall simply have to destroy the Blue Spire with a blast from the Destiny's Dragon Cannon. Damn. Hero, have you been exploring the Dragon Ruins again? You have a guilty look on your face. I can't remember how many times I've asked you to stay away from that place. It's full of monsters, and they're very dangerous if you're unsure of what you're doing. Hero, you have a kind face and a strong will. which makes you a valuable commodity. Why don't you leave this foolish field of archaeology and join us in Althena's guard? You have the potential to be a great warrior, hero. I know a good man when I see one.
Oh, I just bet you do. Why would Hero want to trade his freedom for servitude? He won't work for you.
You are grating on my nerves, little one. Did you never learn to speak only when spoken to? What a dick. Unless you have suddenly recalled the information I seek, I shall take leave of you now. I must prepare myself and the members of Althena's guard to confront the Destroyer. And for your safety, Gwyn, I suggest you stay far away from the Blue Spire, for it is soon to be a battlefield, upon which the Destroyer shall become the destroyed. Again, it sounds like me after Mexican food.
That arrogant fop claimed the goddess has come to our world once again as a human, and is issuing orders directly to him. Very strange. And this destroyer he spoke of. Something's up, my boy. That's for certain. And I don't like the smell of it. Not one bit. Yeah. Oh dear, Hero, my boy. Come quickly, you have to see this. Something's happening at the... Hurry, lad, hurry! Alright. Hold on to your depends there, Grandpa. Look, Hero. Do you see that strange beam of light shining forth from the blue spire? It's aimed directly to the heavens, pointed towards the blue star. Holy crap baskets, Batman! It's I've lived near the Spire for many years, Hero, and I've never seen anything quite like that. I think we have witnessed the arrival of the Destroyer, my boy, just as Lord Leo predicted. I have an awful feeling that we're all going to be in a world of trouble. Let's go to the Blue Spire and find out what just happened. Aren't you dying to know? Maybe we can find out the answers to all the questions you have about that place. And we can warn Lord Leo if the Destroyer has arrived. Will be heroes. Ah, yes, I suppose you do have a point there, my boy. Well then, go get my weapon in the basement. It might be a little rusty, but it'll do. I'll get the things we need from the house, although there's only one item we must have. Not letting you and Ruby travel into that spire by yourself, that's for certain. Whatever could he mean?
This is so exciting, Hero. What do you think we're gonna find at the Spire? Well, other than a fantastic adventure, of course. Not that I didn't like the dragon ruins, but I can't help but feel that something really amazing is about to happen.
You say that now, Cat. You say that now. Giggity goo, alright.
Wow, that's the oldest knife I've ever seen. I wonder where Grandpa Gwyn got it from.
Ancient dagger. It might be old, but it's sharp. Yeah, get used to that. This game has a certain flair to it, and most people enjoy it. It's something that the translators took a lot of liberty in doing. So there's all these books here that we can read. Again, this is really just more, diving into like the backstory, giving you a little bit more information about the world as it is today. Because if you are aware, or know, if you are familiar with the original story of Lunar, you'll note the first Lunar game, rather. I'm sorry, the story of the first Lunar game. You'll take notice that the world looks very different, and there's not much as to why, right? So that'll be obviously something we got to figure out. Okay, so kind of just powered through this. You guys are welcome to read that at your own pace. But it's more, again, it's more backstory than it is anything else.
Ah, I knew I put it away for safekeeping. I'd just forgotten where it was. This jewel is the key that opens the entrance to the Blue Spire. Hold on to it for me, alright?
Left opal jewel. Sure thing, Grandpa.
Be sure to equip the weapon you took from the chest. It's no use to us in your bag, my boy. Good work, my boy. You already equipped your weapon. I see you're anxious to get going. I have to admit that I'm quite excited myself. I haven't been on an adventure in ages. Well, let's get moving, my boy. Blue Spire is due north of here and mighty hard to miss.
Alright, so Gwyn joins the party. He joins us at level 9. Gear-wise, you know, he does a little bit more damage than we do, but he only attacks once. His defense is 29, 21, 19, 26, 29, 12, 21. So, strangely enough, he doesn't move around very well. His magic defense and wisdom are higher, but only slightly. Well, his magic defense is much higher. His speed, he's slow. Hero's gonna always act before him. His agility's 21 versus 23, and defense is the same, probably because they have the same gear. Or similar gear. Adventurer's clothes. And you can see that he uses a mace. So, yeah, Gwen's only gonna hit once, but is gonna hit pretty, not much harder actually than Hero. As far as that goes. But you can see that he actually has healing magic. Yay. And the goal would be to conserve somewhat as much of this as possible. To a degree, but again, don't be afraid to use it when you have to, because you may luck out and find an Althena shrine somewhere, and it might be in your best interest not to burn all of your consumables. So anyway, we've got ourselves something interesting going on at the Blue Spire. Something about the Destroyer. Who knows what, coming to do something. I'm assuming it's to destroy. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm your host, the RPG Guy, and when we come back, we're going to have to figure out what the Destroyer is going to be trying to, or what the Destroyer is actually going to try to destroy. Or perhaps Leo's just talking out of his ass. You never know. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please take a moment to check out more episodes from the RPG Guy, Tuesday Night Team Up, and more. And please subscribe. Always support the channels you enjoy watching, and while you're at it, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. Keep on gaming hard. See you next time.